Welcome back to another Film Geek movie review. Today, after the old day job, I am off to check out the new action comedy, Nobody 2. Nobody 2 is directed by, well, I'm not going to try to pronounce this person's name because in all honesty, I have tried several times and I just can't seem to get it right. But I will say that they have done some horror. I looked up their directing past. They've done a couple of stories in the VHS series in VHS 2 and VHS 94 and a couple of other films that I haven't honestly heard of. So anyways, I can't pronounce their name properly and I do not want to insult this person. The stars of this film are Bob Odenkirk, Christopher Lloyd, and Connie Nielsen. This is the ongoing story of the man with a secret. That's right, it's one of those one-man army type of movies. And this man's secret is, even though he lives in the quiet suburbs amongst all of the normies, this guy used to be a professional assassin. Now in this film, he's decided to take his family off on a nice little vacation. In the previous film, his secret is exposed to everybody, so in this movie, everyone know what's going on. They know what's going on with him, right? So they go on a vacation, and wouldn't you know it, while they're on vacation, some bad dudes show up, and it's up to our good old guy, Nobody, to take care of some business. Guys, this looks like it's going to be just as fun as the original film, but one of the things about the original film that made it so much fun was the fact that we did not know this guy's past. He was the dude with a secret, and the fact that the film was starring Bob Odenkirk also made it that much more fun. Bob Odenkirk is not the kind of guy that you look at and go, yeah, that dude right there, he looks like a professional assassin. I bet that's what he does for a living. Maybe, sleazy lawyer for this guy, but professional assassin? No, I don't think so. But you know what, guys? It is enough of me sitting here jibber-jabbering on. It is time for me to get to the old day job, and then I'm off to check out Nobody 2. Welcome back. Just getting home from Nobody 2, and guys, I really enjoyed this movie. This film was fun from beginning to end. This film clocked in at around 2 hours or something like that, and I swear to God, it felt like it just drifted by like nothing. I was sitting there, and then the next thing I knew, it felt like the movie was getting to the wrap up, to that third act moment, and I was just like, are you kidding me right now? I actually had to look at my phone. There wasn't a lot of people around me, so I didn't disturb anybody, but I had to check the time on my phone to see if I was right about this, because that was just how amazingly good the pacing of this film is. Now, normally I do negatives and positives, but if you can't tell, I really don't have anything negative to say about this movie, but I will say this is a sequel, and it does a really good job of actually being its own contained film. None of the events from the first movie really interfere with this story. You just need to know the basics of everything. He's a family man who actually is a paid assassin, okay? He lives in the suburbs, he has a nice little family, and he decides, you know what, I've been putting in a lot of hours at the office, doing things where he's getting rid of bad people and all, and he just needed a break. He needed to take a vacation, touch base with his family, have some fun, get out to the lake, have a good time. And that's exactly how this movie goes. But with guys like him, trouble always follows. That is how the story is set up, and I had so much fun with this movie. Going into it, I thought a little bit hesitant about it because, in all honesty, I felt like the first movie was pretty well contained. It's just a one-and-done type of film. I didn't feel like there would really need to be anything else added. I did go back and watch the first movie so I could have a good way of touching base with it and everything like that. I just watched it the other day, and I would have to say that these two movies are very polar opposites. When I watched the first Nobody, it really was a lot more serious, a lot more action. It was taking itself a lot more seriously. This film is more of an action comedy, and it is absolutely a perfect blend of both action and comedy. This movie comes in at a nice 50-50% when it comes to the way that the comedy and the action is handled. There are some moments where the action seems like it's going to be a lot better than the comedy, and then they'll come at you with an amazing joke, and you'll be like, nope, here we are, we're still in it to win it. The cast in this film is outstanding. Bob Odenkirk is now a bona fide action hero. Everyone in this movie does a great job. I like bringing the family into this film a lot more. I thought it gave the movie a lot more depth and a lot more characterization for Bob Odenkirk. Also making this movie a little bit more of a comedy, not just an action film. I thought it also worked really good at making the film seem a lot bigger. And that's what this movie does. Like it should, as a good sequel, it's supposed to go bigger and badder and heavier and louder, and that is exactly what this film does. It also delivers an extremely good bad guy in Sharon Stone. Yes, Sharon Stone popped up in this film with Colin Hanks of all people, and they two are the big baddies of our film. And they're great. Well, especially Sharon Stone. It was almost like they were like, hey, Sharon, just get out there, have a good time, just do you, just have fun. And that's exactly what she did. Her villain was outstanding. I like that she kind of brought in her own charisma and her own type of thing to the character to make it a lot more crazy and sadistic and all. The villain was perfectly fine. Very similar to the villain in the first movie, just a really over-the-top kind of mob boss who likes to do horrible things to their henchmen. This story is actually good too. I really liked where they went with this film. I thought it did an excellent job of widening up this movie franchise, if that's what we're doing moving forward, making more of these movies, because like I said, Bob Odenkirk is a bona fide action hero now. Christopher Lloyd is also a lot of fun in this movie. He doesn't have a very big part, but I'm pretty sure the man is in his 90s, so I think that what he had for this movie was perfectly fine, and he did bring a lot of his own fun to this role. All in all, guys, I have to say that this was just one of those really fun action films. I don't have to make excuses for this movie. I don't have to sit here and say, turn your brain off, shove some popcorn in your face, have a good time, watch explosions. This was an extremely well-made movie. The fight sequences are outstanding, just like in the first movie. I really like the hand-to-hand fighting in this, okay? It's nothing over like a big martial arts film where there's all these big super moves where everyone's flipping around and all this. This is much more like military fighting, where they're just trying to beat the ever-living snot out of each other. And I also just love the fact that Bob Odenkirk, when he goes into these situations, he never looks like the kind of guy who would actually be able to pull this stuff off. His character and Christopher Lloyd's character reminded me of something that my dad and grandpa used to say to me. We'd go over to the VW with my grandfather, the VFW, and he'd see all those old guys with their, their hats on, their WW2 hats and whatnot, and he would look at me and say, Christopher, you see these old war dogs? You see them all sitting around here? Let me give you a piece of advice. Don't go over there and mess with those old war dogs. They're old for a reason. And that's exactly what this movie teaches you. These old war dogs, they're old for a reason. Stop messing with them. Stop kicking the dog. Let that sleeping dog lie. And that's always the moral of these stories. All in all, guys, I would have to say that if you're in the mood for a really fun, good time at the cinema, you want a good comedy, you want a good action film, this is definitely the one for you. The shootout sequences were outstanding. Something I noticed that I want to give this film a little bit of a kudos for, I saw squibs. Yes, there were squibs in this movie. If you don't know what I'm talking about, those are the little blood packets that explode when someone gets shot. They were real. I like it. It made so much more of a realism when you use those practical effects. It looked excellent. Now, there was some moments of some CGI blood, yes, because of course we got to go a little over the top sometimes. But most of this film was done with lots of really good looking practical effects. And so anytime that a movie does something like that, I definitely have to shower it with praise. So all in all, guys, I would have to say this is a solid get out there, support this film in theaters, because it really was an excellent film to see up on the big screen. So if that's all I have for you today, guys, thanks again for checking out the Film Geek. If you liked what you saw here today, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, ring that bell for notifications, and give me the old thumbs up so I know you like what you're seeing. And if there's one more thing you could do, folks, that is keep watching movies. You know I'm